Twitch and YouTube coming online, and we'll be hopping up with Facebook here in just a little bit. Make certain the volume is turned down here so we're not disturbed on anything. Naturally, again, some pretty quiet conditions for now. Hopefully it stays that way, because in the next few days things could get pretty well on the stormy side here, and the potential again of some more problems where rain is concerned. But we'll talk about that. And welcoming in Facebook. Stay tuned, everybody, because here we go. Okay, it is Peak of the Week Wednesday, and we are live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. This is the midweek edition of News 12 video weather blog, Weather Overtime. It is decently quiet for right now, though we do have some thunderstorms trying to form north of Chattanooga for tonight, and more rumbles of thunder tonight, tomorrow, and for the next several days. So if we get into the course of the near future, there will be the potential of some more rainfall coming our direction, and that could lead to some possible flash flooding. If you've never joined us before here on Weather Overtime, we're on for about 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on what kind of questions we get asked, and also, again, whatever anybody happens to know about. And when there's a lot of weather going on, we can be on for about a half an hour. If you're on Twitch or YouTube and you're looking for something slightly more jazzy, I can guarantee you that's not what you're going to find here. We talk about weather for the News 12 viewing area. We're coming to you live and direct from Chattanooga, Tennessee, southeast United States, and we talk about the weather for this area and in general across much of the southeast U.S. and how that's going to affect us here. So if you're looking for something more in the way of tap dancing, jazz music, macrame, stuff like that, not going to find it here. We talk about weather, and I am not going to sing, I promise you that. So definitely do not want to stay tuned if you're looking for a musical accompaniment, because I can tell you right now that that will not be happening unless you count the squeaking chair behind me. Decently quiet, and again, very close to where we should be for this time of the year. We are still above normal for the month, but only by a fraction of an inch. We were exactly where we should be on the temperatures today. 12 degrees below a record high that hasn't been tied or broken since 1952, and just a little bit of rain in the gauge, so that has helped a little bit, but we need 6 and basically 3/4 inches of rain to make up for what we haven't gotten in the course of the last couple of months. And it has been a dry 2026 all the way around, so we could definitely use some help on that. Overnight could be the possibility of, again, more showers and thunderstorms taking place. So if you're heading out for that late night nosh, that could be an issue. It's going to be very mild, low temperatures overnight, barely out of the mid 70s. The good news is, into the next couple of days, temperatures will be kind of calming down by just a little bit. Not by much, but in July, hey, a knockdown in the temperatures, I think we'll take that with no problem at all. In the meantime, enjoy the weather over the next few days, even though it's very warm and muggy at night, and there will be more chances of rain, because next week on the extended forecast, there will be the potential of some more in the way of heat coming our way. Not record-breaking, but not really comfortable either. This was a great picture sent in to us by News 12 viewer Melissa out of Shannon, Georgia. It's kind of hard to see on some of the cameras that you're looking at here, but if you look into and around, let me get the cursor on screen. If you look right in this area here, you notice just a little bit of a rainbow effect. Now, this is called, in atmospheric optics terms, a circumhorizontal arc. It's when the ice crystals or the water droplets of the cloud line up just perfectly and at just the right thickness with the angle of the incoming sunlight to create a bit of a rainbow display. You can see the Roy G. Biv colors going on there. And that, again, that rainbow effect, courtesy of the prism of the ice crystals or the water droplets. And this is called a circumhorizontal arc. This is different from a circumzenithal arc, which can happen in mid-sky and usually happens without too many clouds around. So there are different ones out there. The study of atmospheric optics is really, really cool to take a look at if you have the chance to do so. So I definitely would recommend the idea of checking some of this out. If you've got weather pictures like Melissa from Shannon, Georgia, please send them in to us. Email, drop them to social media, or again, go to Weather Window headquarters. That's the way to get your pictures to us if at all possible. WDEF.com/photos, and yours could be the next HEP Heating Weather Window picture of the day. Quiet for tonight over downtown. Sylvester the Spider taking up residence over Lookout Mountain. I think I saw a monster movie like this once, and it did not end well. Downtown Chattanooga, kind of hazy out there, and at the airport, temperatures are back into the mid-80s. Southwesterly winds and dew point temperatures in the low 70s, giving us a heat index right before 10 o'clock Eastern time of 93 degrees. So it is quite uncomfortable out there. The wildfire smoke that has been boiling out of Canada over the last few weeks has taken a bit of a break for now. We are looking again at some wildfire smoke dropping down our direction, and that again very minimal, maybe helping the haze layer, but that's about it. Most of the best potential for smoke in the next about 48 hours will be from the Rio Grande up into the Dakotas, and then of course back over parts of the Canadian and American Rockies. So we may see a little bit of a downturn in air quality for portions of the area, but as of right now, we are not seeing a major problem when it comes to air quality. Mold spores remain at the high level. Everything else, including the grass pollen, which was moderate yesterday, has now dropped down to the lower levels. So that is some definite good news on that. Unfortunately, for anybody who has allergies, there are still pollutants out there that are causing more problems. The main thing is the pollutants, the particle of 2.5 microns, that smoke, soot, and exhaust. That is at the higher level, close to moderate at this point. Ozone gas is the next highest, and that has been at the good level for a while. We don't have anything, again, major, and when it comes to unhealthy air, which we can get after a Independence Day fireworks display or something like that. But what we can get is these fluctuations in different pollutants that can cause more problems at different times. The larger particle pollution, dust, pollen, and soil, that remains at a very good low level again overall. So that is not looking too bad, and air quality in itself is doing pretty good for the time being. Bertha down toward the Gulf of Mexico is doing a good job of stirring up showers and moisture and pushing them up this direction, and that's what we're going to see over the next couple of days. As long as Bertha wanders along the northern Gulf, we will see the potential of more in the way of rainfall out there. Now we've got some wannabe thunderstorms popping up, getting some rumbles of thunder over portions of eastern McMinn and northwestern Monroe County, Tennessee, in the News 12 viewing area. So we are picking up some thunderstorms. A lot of this is probably due to the upslope flow, that moisture-rich air getting pushed up against the western side of the Appalachians, the higher mountain area there. The rest of it is mainly just rainfall. A couple of lightning strikes, if I'm not mistaken, over around the area of Sequatchie County, maybe. Well, maybe I saw that wrong, but showers stretching across and over Grundy County back over toward northwestern Jackson County in Alabama. So we do have plenty of showers out there forming along this front, the worst of which, again, for now, northeastern Hamilton, Meigs, McMinn, and Monroe counties. For those of you who are tuning in, this is our coverage area. You may not have seen this before. North central, northwest Georgia, northeast Alabama, southeast Tennessee, and Cherokee County, western North Carolina. This is the News 12 viewing area. Counties are broadcast area that we have through here. More rainfall taking place down around either side of Atlanta and into northeast Alabama. Some activity taking place there. More potential like this over the course of the evening and into overnight. So I would not be surprised to see more in the way of problems from rain and thunderstorms. The cause of all this is the moisture-rich air coming in from off the Gulf and this front, which has been dropping through and is now making its way slowly down to the south of the News 12 viewing area. Then we have Bertha. Again, the circulation here, low pressure area in the northern hemisphere rotates counterclockwise, and that is pushing a ton of moisture up and on shore. This front will be sticking around over the course of the next several days, and that is what will give us the potential of more of that in the way of rainfall. So we're not done with the rain just yet, and we will see the potential of more of that rain coming on through as we go into the next several days. So I would keep the rain gear handy. This front, the main energy of the front goes out over the Atlantic, leaving behind this frontal boundary, which gives us the potential for more of these showers and thunderstorms to be forming right on into and through the weekend and also into the early part of next week. But then this front starts to fall apart in the later portion of the weekend. There's barely any difference on either side of this boundary between the air masses, so it basically just kind of washes out in the atmosphere. There's not much left, which means our rain chances next week will be almost entirely determinant on the sunlight baking the lower level of the atmosphere and causing that boiling of showers and thunderstorms to occur. 60s and 70s for lows tonight. Highs tomorrow, thanks to more clouds, more rainfall, should not be a major problem. We should be looking at uncomfortably humid conditions, but high temperatures should remain just below 90, especially in northwest Georgia. We should not be looking at too much in the way of dangerously hot weather. What we are also going to be seeing is the potential of flash flooding. The National Weather Service issuing a flash flood watch for almost all of the News 12 viewing area. I say almost because Grundy County, Tennessee is not included in this watch at this time, so we don't see much of a problem there. This is in effect until Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. Could this be extended? Yes, but it doesn't show that for right now. It looks like the National Weather Service is taking a day-by-day approach on this to see if we need to extend the watch any further than what we have right now. The flash flood risk will continue for tonight, a 2 out of 4 slight risk category for almost all of the News 12 viewing area. That threat, the 2 out of 4, remains across much of the area into Thursday, and then also for the area coming up on Friday, there is that slight 2 out of 4 potential here until Saturday, when that front starts to lose a lot of energy. Then there will be a lesser 1 out of 5 marginal threat, and then the potential for no flash flooding according to the computer models coming up on Sunday. So definitely some good news on that. Tomorrow is Thursday. That is the weekly update of the U.S. Drought Monitor. The news over the last couple of weeks was actually good. The drought subsided and moved back to the east a little bit, so we have the worst drought in western North Carolina, at least in this area of the country. Now that drought situation has started to spread again because of the rainfall that we have not gotten in the last couple of weeks. We need a lot more rain over a longer period of time for a longer period of time. And as of right now, if we don't get that, this drought situation will continue. So you may be sitting at home and saying, okay, big whoop, what does that mean to me? It means higher wildfire danger. It means problems with agriculture that can't get enough rainfall. It means farmers possibly losing crops or getting damaged crop returns and a lower yield. It could mean, again, a lot of problems out there when it comes to vegetation drying up and not getting enough moisture that could lend itself to a more dangerous camping or outdoor scenario when it comes to anything involving being outdoors with wildfires. That is something that is really absolutely incredibly important. So once again, we're going to be seeing the potential for that dry weather continuing across much of the region. Now, into the tropics, Bertha is still an organized storm. The latest update from the Hurricane Prediction Center, it's lopsided, but it does still have a lot of moisture to draw on, and we'll continue to see more potential of that. So it is still a tropical storm. The National Hurricane Center is still issuing advisories on this, and probably will until Bertha makes its way over toward the western areas of the Gulf. Hurricane hunters returned to base a few hours ago. Latest mission plot here showing again the Hurricane Hunter mission concluded and returning to the area around Stennis, and not seeing anything in the way of future plans going on here. Bertha's path in the next few days is going to take it basically due west, and then it should run out of steam over South Texas and the Rio Grande, and then it's just going to be nothing more than just an impulse moving through the atmosphere across the rugged terrain of northern Mexico. Now, there are a couple of models here that kind of do this loop-the-loop pattern that take it up around East Texas, West Louisiana, and move it back this direction. The conventional weather wisdom right now is all of these models, the majority of the models, moving this storm due west and into the Texas Gulf Coast. There is still the potential that some of that moisture could make its way up to the northeast and reinforce our problems with rainfall in the next couple of days. Doubtful, but it is still possible. That's something we're going to be watching to say no problem there. Outside of Bertha, there is nothing going on in the Atlantic at this point in time. Dry, dusty air from the Sahara, which is completely and totally normal. That's part of what happens when you live in a giant terrarium spinning in space. No conspiracy theories needed. That right there is dust from the Sahara going across the Atlantic and absorbing the moisture and blocking the sunlight. So there's precious little going on in the Atlantic. Not so in the Pacific. We've got a new area that's actually an old area disturbance southwest of the Hawaiian Islands. And then we've got a new disturbance following up on Category 1 Hurricane Fausto. That one making its way very healthy up toward the north and to the west. Looks like more of a westerly course for right now. I need to remove this from the maps because Elida or Elida, depending on how you pronounce that, has basically given up the ghost, and as of right now, what's left of it is heading up west of San Francisco. That could bring more clouds and rainfall up there. You can see the swirl making its way west of the Oregon coast, so that in and of itself, not really too much of a problem for us in the next few days. So outside of Fausto, that's the only hurricane that we have on the list for right now. Next couple of days, temperatures will be dropping a little bit, not by much, but at least we'll be knocking the temperatures out of the 90s. And in July, I'm just fine with that. I don't know how you feel about that. Maybe if summer's your jam, that's great. Love it, no problem. But I'm not a summer. I'm a winter. So that's one of my favorite seasons. There, summer, you roast, you sweat, you get plenty of humidity. Not my jam, never has been. Now, as the chances of rain diminish into the next several days, it's possible that we may see again a less rain, more sun scenario. So that means our temperatures will go from below normal back to above normal as we get into and around the early part of next week. It's possible, it's just not really all that likely that we're going to be anything more blazing hot than that. And again, that flood watch in effect for until Thursday at 8 p.m. So stay tuned for more on that. Weather poll question of the day. In the last year, the Department of Government Efficiency, and I have a very big problem with that last word right there. Thanks to DOGE budget cuts, the National Weather Service was pretty well gutted with what DOGE called an overabundance or cutting the fat of the National Weather Service, hamstringing a lot of the National Weather Service, making it more difficult for areas to get covered by severe weather, and to make certain all personnel were necessary to cover certain areas and shifts and all sorts of duties out there. What DOGE calls overabundance and government waste is what a lot of people depend on for daily information, not to mention the fact for anything involving severe or adverse weather conditions, and agricultural studies, hydrology, all sorts of stuff like that. And that's having a big impact. Now, apparently, the National Weather Service has recovered and they want to rehire people back again. Why, as a professional meteorologist, you would want to go back for a government agency that could terminate you on a whim and then also hold your paycheck for months on end while Congress battles over whether or not you get paid due to some sort of congressional roadblock. I have no idea. But one of the effects that DOGE budget cuts had was to reduce the amount of weather balloon launches that cover the United States and that are very important for getting data that will show us what the forecast is going to do. Just for a second, say the IRS audits you and they want 100% of your data, and you come in and say, well, I got 66% of it, that should do it, right? Not for the IRS. I'm just guessing. I'm not an IRS person, nor am I an accountant, nor am I a mathematician, but when somebody, especially for a company, orders you to get 100% of something, you better at least try to get that. And when you're missing a significant chunk of that weather forecasting information due to these so-called fat trimming budget cuts, that has an effect. And we have been seeing a reduction in the accuracy of forecasts thanks to these budget cuts. So what one supposed trillionaire is saying is a good thing for the United States doesn't really seem to be having that effect, and that's been called out by many scientists, researchers, meteorologists, climatologists, and it's showing up in, again, less accurate forecasts, including for the tropical season. So, due to those budget cuts, how many weather balloon launches have been canceled overall across the entire American National Weather Service spectrum? And remember, it takes, according to union rules, it takes 2 people to launch a balloon due to safety standards and a lot of other stuff that goes on stuff like that. So if you'd like to think about things like that, National Weather Service has tons of information about how and why they need to be very safe when it comes to these things. 68% of you said that a quarter of the balloon launches have been canceled. Well, that's not exactly the case. It's not quite that bad, but it is pretty bad to where 1 out of 5 balloon launches have been canceled. Just imagine for a second that you're filling out your taxes and your employer decides to give you, 75, 80% of your W-2s, but not what you really need. The IRS is going to frown on that, and it's not going to help you get your taxes done any sooner. This is a very big problem, and this was done by essentially an interloper to the United States government saying, oh, well, we don't need all this. Let's just hack all this out on a whim. Well, it's now having an effect on our weather forecasting abilities. So due to one non-expert's idea about cutting waste from the government, it has now done a very good job of reducing the National Weather Service's accuracy. And you can argue with that all you want to. Well, they were never that accurate to begin with. They were just guessing about things. Well, you can say that being in a country that guarantees your right to say anything, but as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, that's not a country that guarantees that everything you say is correct. Same thing applies to this. This is, again, information that I found by searching around from many different websites and information, including government sources, that say that we are missing 1 out of 5 balloon launches, and that is now having a major impact on our forecasting ability. And you may wonder why your weather app on your device is not working as well as you may think it does. Here's a good reason. And this is not anybody's fantasy. This is not just complaining about things. This is a deliberate hit to our ability to provide accurate weather forecasting and therefore better coverage, possibly even life-saving coverage to various parts of the country, because somebody decided to come in here with a golden chainsaw and play fantasy accountant. This is having an effect on our weather, and that is not anything that a lot of meteorologists will apologize for. It has happened, it is happening, it is having an effect, so that is really something that, again, Americans need to be paying attention to when it comes to voting out there. Thanks to Williams Plumbing Services for being our sponsor on there, and we'll have a new poll going up on News 12 at midnight, so stay tuned for more there. Overnight, showers and thunderstorms not out of the question, so as you're heading out for that early morning breakfast nosh, you could be seeing some very mild conditions across the area. Chip Chapman will have more on your forecast. Again, that'll be on News 12 this morning, starting at 5 a.m. Eastern time, so stay tuned for that. Severe weather, that doesn't seem to be in the plan for right now, but it is definitely going to be possible with flash flooding out there. So remember, turn around, don't drown, find another way to get to where you're going, and more details, forecast available on our websites. Again, it is our pleasure to bring you as much weather information as we can. We've been on for about 25 minutes. That's not bad for us this evening. If you'd like to know more, all you have to do, email address in the blue bar down beneath everything, aonic@wdef.com. If you'd like to reach anybody here at News 12, go to our website, hit the Contact Us page. You can find out more details about who's here. If you have a story idea, if you see some news happening, please let us know about that. We cannot do this job without you, so please let us know more about what you're seeing out there. Also, again, thank you very much to our sponsor, Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games of Chattanooga. You can reach them at epicosccg.com if you'd like to see what wares are available there. I'll have more coming up on News 12 at 11 as we record this about 45 minutes from now. And again, Chip will have more on your forecast coming up early on Thursday morning starting at 5 a.m. Thanks for joining us for Weather Overtime on Wednesday, and we'll talk to you again coming